My friends, this is the last day of the month of May. I think you know that. You didn't need me to tell you that. And I wanted to send this to give you a shout out to all of my Lionel legal friends to give you an up-to-date work on what's going on. First and foremost, a lot of things have happened which are wonderful for me. Number one, first, I think since we last talked, Monday through Friday, 1 to 5 a.m. on WABC 77, WABC in New York City. They call it the other side of midnight. I call it Make Way for Mr. Nobody, or wear a long coat and nobody will notice. I wear that, of course. I use that. So that's that. Number two, this week was jury duty, and I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get into it. I'll talk about it later in the event that I'll wait till everything is done, just after the fact, which is an important thing. I think out of an abundance of caution, as an officer of the court, I will mention it later. I think it's important. And by the way, your support is always appreciated. Your support for our efforts. Super Chats, PayPal, Patreon, crypto, Filipino Deutschmarks, cardboard, aluminum can recycling. Anything is always appreciated. And I mean that sincerely. I'm not just saying that just to be cute. I appreciate that because it's what keeps us going. Because this is a lot of work, and I know this. And for Mrs. L and me, I'm going to tell you this, not that it matters, but I'm telling you, we have absolutely no help whatsoever. We're it. We are it. There is nobody involved in this but us. Period. I'm just going to let you know. No producers, no cameramen, no nothing. It's just us. And we do it the old-fashioned way. We earn it. Okay? So I'm going to bring you up to speed on a couple of things here. I've got my hat on, my cap. It says, you notice that? Because the rules have changed. Plant City, Florida. I told Mrs. Ella I was going to take her to the Strawberry Festival one year. I told you I was 2-year cow chip throwing champion. That is no joke. First and foremost, my friends, President Trump Diddy better be very careful, because President Trump is going to get his ass convicted if there's any so much as even a hint that Trump would pardon Diddy. Now, I'm going to tell you something. And remember something when I tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth, and I'm going to say it the way it is, and I'm going to tell you the way it is. And some people may not like what I have to say, but frankly, as you know, I don't really care. It doesn't matter what people say. It really doesn't matter. Trump doesn't always do things wisely. He doesn't always act wisely. It's not always genius what he does. I'm sorry to say that. I hate to break it to you. But not everything that he does is, the best thing possible. I'm sorry. I think you know this. He does some things which, frankly, I don't understand. For example, there's too many pardons. This is being abused. I know nobody cares. Remember, I'm not giving up on him. I love the dude. I think he's great. I think it's terrific. But what I'm saying is that he's got to understand. The reason for the pardons initially was when the court, when the country was starting off, and we didn't have the appellate reviews that we have right now. We didn't have the appellate. What do I say this? We didn't have appellate court, for example. In federal court, you have the district court, which is the trial court. You understand that? Yes. Also, we didn't have the individual post-conviction review, appellate review. It was the bare bones. Absolutely, it was the end of everything. So what happened was, which is I think very critical. What happened was, at the time, pardons were important, but now what we're doing is we're undoing the criminal process by this. I know nobody cares about this, but one minute we hate him, one minute we like him. What Joe Biden did with that Autopin, do you hear what I'm saying? Nobody's even talking about this. I don't know whether the president really truly understands how serious this stuff is. I don't know who his people are. I think sometimes, and remember, he's only been in 9%. 9%. He has been in office 9% of the time. 9%. Let me say this again. Let me see if I can put this into perspective. 9%. He's got 91% of his term. So let's don't get bent out of shape. I understand this. You understand this. We understand this. Okay. So that's that. So let me just put it this way. But there's too many pardons. And did you see those weird? If that fruitcake, who were those people? What is he, a minister or something? What? The ones that he pardoned, those mortgage fraud people. Who are they, honey? I never even heard of them.
Some TV show like Chrisley Knows Best, a family in the South. They were just like
This was the weirdest dude. What is he doing? That was the strangest thing. Look, sometimes I'll say this about Trump. I'll tell you the truth. Sometimes I think he loves the cool kids more than he should. I think he gets too impressed with people who are themselves kind of famous, because those are his friends. Trump, how do I say this? Look, I love the guy. I don't have to explain to you my bona fides, but let's be honest. If he had the chance to hang around with famous people or us, he'd pick the famous people. Okay? And maybe I can't blame him. Maybe I do. I don't know. But don't think for a moment you're his friend or that he would love you or any of that stuff. I mean, he's a great guy. I mean, he's terrific, but we're not in his league. You know what I mean? He doesn't look at us the same way. And that's okay. Maybe I'm just telling you the way it is. There are some things about him, some things he does where he just... See, I am more, and as you will know me, I will tell you the truth, and Mrs. L will tell you this, but there is an absolute fact as to how I deal with regular people. So, make a long story short. So, the other day, when that Peter Ducey asks whether you would pardon Diddy, what kind of a stupid question is that? First of all, for Diddy, nobody cares about Diddy. But I say, Diddy say, no, I think a schmuck, don't say that. Why? Because the jury might be saying, oh, well, shit. If you're going to pardon him, you know what? I'll convict him then. I wasn't too crazy about convicting him, but now I think I will. Because after all, you pardon him. Go ahead. You're intimating it. You're suggesting it. It's absolutely incredible how people would think this, okay? I'm just telling you right now, and believe me when I tell you this, my friends, believe me when I tell you, there's something that was one of the dumbest things I have ever seen. Why in the name of God I don't understand it. But look, what are you going to do? Now, they do these things. Next, what's the story, the real story about Elon Musk? Do you believe 100% that he's 100% legit? Answer my question. Yes or no? If it's a yes, press 1. If it's a no, press 2. Do you think he's 100% legit? That's all. Very simple question. Very simple question. Come on. What do you think? Who thinks? You think he's legit? You're out of your mind. You are so naive. Oh my God. Oh God. You think he's motivated merely by wonderful things. You think that he's just, that doesn't mean he can't do good things. Do you think the billionaire said it? Do you know what Peter Thiel is? Do you know what Palantir is? Do you know what do you know the deals he's going to be working with military and with info tech and all that? He's big tech. Do you understand what they're going to do with AI next? He is, and God bless him, he's the limited hangout. He's the guy who comes along that says, hey, he's great. I like him. Really? You think do you think, and by the way, he does not want to be just a billionaire. He's the richest man in the world. So it's not about money. Get it through your head, kids. It's about power. And if you think that this guy is just groovy with just be whatever it is, you're out of your mind. I trust him as far as I can trust him. I trust him as far as I can. You know what I mean? I do the best that I can. I just but I don't think he's How many kids do you think he has? Ask me a question. How many kids do you think he has? Not the ones that he acknowledges. How many kids do you think he has? Who knows? Could he have 50 kids, 100? Sure. Is there some weird megalomaniacal part of him? Yeah, probably. Probably, yeah, sure. Absolutely. Is that against the law? No. Of course not. He'll take care of him. But he's into this kind of a messianic thing. This is a weird dude. This is a guy who shows up with X on his shoulders and he's jumping up and down. And, listen. I don't want you to be caught off guard. I don't want you to be caught off guard. And I don't want you to get this pie in the sky, groovy thing like everything's wonderful and everybody's great. No, it's not the way it is. But you know what's better than last time? Better than those people. Absolutely better. I did a video on Lionel Nation, which you must see, about the word axe. How many people have said, boy, what's with all these black people who can't pronounce the word ask? They say axe. That's wrong. Is it? Is it? Is it? It actually goes back to Chaucer and Shakespeare, and it's axane, and it was shortened to axe. Axe was the preferred. Not that anybody who is a Diddy fan or any of these monosyllabic gibberish spewing folks, not that all black people, Diddy's crowd is, oh yeah. Have you seen these thugs with these names? And come on, don't you love their real names? Two Thug, Fat Joe XI6, Born Jerome Johnson. It's like, oh, come on. Remember years ago when they had the X, Johnny 32X. No, John. His name was like Johnny Tyrone Johnson. All of a sudden he was like 32X. They were all this X. These folks. Anywho, but Axe and finna. I'm finna go. This is fixin' was actually diminutive. These were all legitimate words at one point. Isn't it something? Of course it is. So anyway, next, Dan Bongino, Dan Bongino, biggest sellout fraud anywhere. Fraud. All of a sudden he said, hey, I think we're what did he say? He was going to release a video? A video? There is no video. That's the point, schmuck, remember? They said there was no video. Don't you remember? They fell asleep and it was... What is he talking about? Cash Patel, who always looks... Cash looks like he's just stepped on something. Like he sat on a tack. He's got those bug eyes. He's always scared. It's like, oh my God. He has seppuku. By the way, I told you this, Mrs. Ellen and Lionel. We haven't been to a show. We saw last night, Call Me Izzy. Gene Smart, excellent at, where was it? Studio 54. The original Studio 54. And boy, if that place you could almost smell the sweat and the bodily fluids and the coke and the grime and the you know what I mean? You could really smell the sweat and the schwitz and the sin and the debauched. Everybody was there, from Michael Jackson to Jackie Kennedy to everybody who was anybody was there. So that's where we were last night. We had a little date. It was fun. Can I tell you one of the funniest things? I asked Mrs. L, I said, is there an intermission? She said, yeah, there's a 10-minute intermission. Rafael Lagonde says, I did some research. I think Elon will end up like Carnegie after the anarchist on live to CFO. He will abandon business for good. Well, we'll see. That's interesting speculation. I appreciate that. But I got to tell you that. Thank you very much for that. So I asked Mrs. L, I said, how long does this, you know? She says, it was 100 minutes, right, with a 10-minute intermission, right?
That's what I read.
So we read this. Okay, so I'm looking right here. It says, I guess this Johanna Day is the understudy, right?
Well, who wants to see that?
No, I know. Can you imagine that? Stand by. It says, Call Me Izzy will be performed without an intermission.
What I read on the ticketing site.
Okay, on the ticketing site.
It said 100 minutes with a
Okay.
10-minute intermission.
Well, anyway, it says this. So I thought to myself, I said, I got to run to the can, I got to go to the can. And we're in this really steep, this is from the 1927, the Gallo Opera House is what it was. Then it was in 1942. Studio 54 was the CBS a theater. Anywho, so I went and I get up and my legs are kind of like just stiff from sitting in these little tiny weren't they crowded? Me, not exactly Lou Alcindor. I was I'm turning on my side because my legs can't even. How did anybody? Anyway, so my legs are. So they're kind of stiff. So I said, let me just just go down. And then when I got by oh my God, it's dark, and I'm thinking I could if I fell on that steel, those old, I'd be wiped out. Wiped out. So I'm grabbing the pole, making sure my legs are stiff. Anyway, I went to the John, came back, and as I come around, I hear, yay! That was it. Over. The big finale, I missed it. I kind of got the idea of what it was. One of the most important and excellent, she is a... Do you watch Hacks? Anybody watch Hacks on a... Is that HBO Max or C... I have no idea where these things are. I used to have trouble. Is it NBC? Is it CBS? Now is it Max? Is it Netflix? Is it whatever? Anyway. What an incredible actress. Incredible. One woman show. That's it. No intermission. The whole story. So if you're ever in New York City, please make sure you show up. We saw one time Vanessa Redgrave. Of course, a lefty. Well, let me tell you something. She was into this Palestinian stuff forever before it was cool. So anyway, so that was that. So anyway, so Elon took off, and I'm thinking, Elon, he had his eye, and saying, He said his kid hit him, I don't know what that's. There's all kinds of rumors about Elon and his private life, and maybe using series of substances that may or may not. I don't know. I don't know. You hear kinds of stuff. I don't know if Doge is doing enough, but it's something. Now, the question I'm going to have is anybody going to do anything once and for all about addressing the notion of the Autopin? I don't know about that. I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. That's my concern. That's what I'm worried about more than anything else. The commentary regarding Diddy is off the charts, off the wall, off the rails. I don't think anybody even cares at all anything about Diddy. I don't think anybody's even paying attention to it. If he doesn't walk, there's an injustice. They haven't proved anything. 3 cases, don't forget. Three things. Number 1, violation of the Mann Act or the white slavery statute of 1910. Jack Johnson, R. Kelly, Chuck Berry were all found guilty of that. Okay, fine, that's that. Then later on, we have some other things too. There was racketeering. Racketeering. Where's the enterprise? Where's the criminal enterprise? Where is it? I don't know. And finally, this notion, this idea of there being actual trafficking, threat, force, coercion, threat. I don't know where any of this is. But nobody seems to care. They just want to keep talking about this sordid world. And I think they get a kick out of the fact that it's an attack against popular negritude. I know nobody wants to say that, but I think there's a very serious aspect to that component, to that aspect. I think there's something to be said about that. I think some people really, really want to, I don't know, Justin Bieber got off absolutely, they just stopped talking about him. That poor kid, that guy is so messed up. One day, Justin Bieber and Britney Spears will wake up. You will wake up and they'll be dead. And people will say, I told you so. I told you so. So that's that. So anyway, we're seeing what's happening. By the way, nobody gives a rat's ass about tariffs. Nobody cares about tariffs. Nobody talks about tariffs. Nobody talks about the Pope anymore. Nobody talks about anybody. Nobody talks about any of this stuff. Nothing. Epstein. Epstein. I'm telling you, Dan Bongino is going to cause a real problem as he is pitted against, of all people, Kash Patel. Because both of them are trying their best to see who can be the most important. Mark my words. So anyway, what else is the big story that's captivating you? Not the headline, but the story that captivates you, that you're interested about in. AI. AI is unlike anything you've ever seen. You may like tariffs, but you don't talk to friends about tariffs. You don't sit around with a drink and talk about tariffs. Tariffs is what you talk about when you pretend that you're talking about the news. It's what people on who want to do talk radio who talk about. Nobody gives a shit about tariffs. It's not. It doesn't. Yeah, you think about them, but the real story is what AI is doing. It's the biggest story of them all. And the problem is I can't get anybody to understand it. I can't get anybody to understand it. You understand what I'm saying? I can't get anyone to understand what it is I'm saying and what it is and why it poses such a threat. So we'll see about that. And everybody else doing good? I think tariffs are good for our country. Didn't say they weren't. You want to talk about them? You want to talk about tariffs? You want to talk about them? Who wants to talk about tariffs? Who? I mean, they're important. Who wants to? Who wants to? Who is riveted by it? Who wants to talk about it? What's there to talk about? I think they're good. I think they're good too. Okay. Why don't we have tariffs? I don't know. Because the Democrats will stop everything and anything that the president stops. That's it. There's nothing really to say. It's not a subject. They're saying, okay, yes, that's okay. AI is going to blow people away. You have no idea what's going on. None. And it is so fast and so quick, and Elon's going to be right there. And this guy, Sam Altman, you better watch him. This guy is going to end up owning the world. Sam Altman he's going to make Zuckerberg and Elon look like pikers. He could truly own the world. The world. And AI is going to, it is so far, it is so gone. Check out who is it? Eliezer, what is it? Yudkowsky and others. Even Ben Goertzel. And Singularity. It's the most frightening thing anybody's ever seen. Remember, I'm telling you this. When it hits you, and you say, "Oh my God!" When you really get it, when something happens, you'll say, "Oh my God, he's right. He is absolutely right." Unbelievable. Fred says, "Why am I more informed about our foreign conflicts than President Trump?" I don't know if the president is not informed. I think they are. I think he is. I don't think he wants to be informed of certain things. I think he's got certain people he has to abide by. I think certainly he's had. I think the AIPAC, the Israeli lobby, must be wondering, what the hell is he doing? What the hell is he doing? That's one that blows my mind. I love also when people, this is one of the things that drives me crazy. Somebody will say something all of a sudden. Somebody will say something. Lara Logan. Okay, fine. Nothing wrong with it. And she'll do something, and I'll get, or Mrs. L will get some YouTube channel. You gotta see this. Did you see this? It's like, why are you telling me this? You gotta see this. You don't think we know this? No, you don't understand. Why do people feel, maybe they feel like, look, I'm connected. I'm sending you a video regarding somebody that, you know, you may or may not, I don't know the word is, pay attention. I don't understand it. There is so much out there that is only, I'm not saying Lara Logan, I'm just giving you an example, but they're only temporarily of interest. They have no, there's no investment down the road. It's all clickbait and whatever. And when somebody sends me, did you see this? It's almost like this is an insult. It's an insult. It's like, did you talk about this? Why don't you talk about this? Because I'm not interested in it. Or I don't want to talk about this. Better yet, why don't you talk about this? Why don't you? You should have your own channel. People should have their own channel. There's nothing that, I'm not imbued with any particular knowledge that you don't have. You could find everything else that we're talking about. It's one of those things I don't understand. I think sometimes people, and there's so many, I would love to have a list of people that I just dropped here. Oh, by the way, I hope you listen to my Jordan Peterson interview, my piece, and also Piers Morgan, who is the biggest con of them all. Jordan Peterson, Piers Morgan, oh, that Patrick Bet David, what? So full of it. Eric Weinstein. Have you ever seen Eric Weinstein on Piers Morgan? I think it was Sean Carroll, the physicist. Eric Weinstein and that brother Brett. These are like what is this? Biggest phony baloney, folks, you've ever seen in your... I didn't know you didn't like... Piers Morgan, I've been telling you forever, and Jordan Peterson is a fraud. I've been telling you this. I also told you the same thing about Matt Gaetz. I told you about the Tate brothers. Oh, they're going down. You wait, and wait you see, they're going to turn their back on them so fast. I told you about this. I told you. The Dan Bonginos. There's a lot of folks who are, how do I say this? So there's some people who really should not be in the cabinet. They're loyal, but they're lightweights. They really don't get it. But There is nobody in the president's cabinet now that I would take, or that you could replace with anybody from Biden. So whatever it is fine. It's not, I'm not thrilled with everything, but I love this president. And remember, tell people he's only been in 9% of his tenure. 9%. Okay? Okay. All right, dear friends, I want you to have a great and a glorious night. By the way, after we get done with this, at 7 p.m., I'm going to be doing a live one on the Lionel Nation show. So check that baby out. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Remember, stay tuned. Be subscribed to Lionel Legal. Don't forget Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. And don't forget all of our social media. And Monday through Friday. Set it. You can also check the WABC app. A lot of you folks are already there. It is the best. How do I say this? It is an audience that is unrestrained by the usual constraints of how do I say this? The usual stuff that talk radio is accompanied with. All right? You understand what I'm saying? Okay, good. All right, my friends. Have a great and glorious day. Tomorrow's June. There you go. And until then, remember these wonderful words until, as I always end with this valedictory, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta. Try it again.